Hello and welcome to ELA Explained. In this video, we'll continue our exploration of archetypes. To review, archetypes are recurring symbols, themes, settings, and character types that appear across cultures and time periods. They reflect universal patterns of human experience. Last time we examined archetypal themes. Today, we'll focus on two archetypal settings, the castle and the forest, and consider how they shape atmosphere and meaning in storytelling. To do this, we'll compare two very different works, the medieval English poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight and a modern Japanese novel Musashi by Yoshikawa Eiji. Despite the cultural and historical distance between them, both texts use these settings in surprisingly comparable ways. Each hero moves between the structured world of the castle and the unpredictable world of nature, and these shifts reveal deeper truths about their character and the trials they face. The castle is one of the oldest and most persistent archetypal settings in Western and Eastern storytelling. Across cultures, it's typically associated with power and authority, order and civilization, security and protection. At the same time, it is often a place of confinement and ritualized trials. The forest is often the opposite of a castle, a place untouched by civilization, where one can encounter unknown forces beyond human control. A forest is also an archetypal setting for trials, but usually these include an internal conflict. We'll begin with Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which features two castles and two forest settings. The poem opens in Camelot during a Christmas celebration. Camelot embodies refinement, courtesy, and a sense that civilization is secure behind its walls, until the Green Knight arrives. His arrival shatters the illusion of safety. The castle immediately becomes a place of trial as the Green Knight challenges the court to his beheading game, and Gawain accepts the eerie challenge, demonstrating bravery and loyalty to his king. After striking off the knight's head, Gawain learns he must seek the Green Chapel in 1 year and 1 day to receive a return strike, setting his quest in motion. When Gawain leaves Camelot, the ordered world of the court dissolves behind him. Winter closes in, paths vanish, and the forest becomes a landscape of cold, danger, and disorientation. Where the castle offered predictability, the forest offers chaos and indifference. Nothing here follows a human rhythm or set of rules. Instead of chivalric ceremonies, Gawain faces twisting paths, dangerous terrain, enemies, and uncertainty. This creates an atmosphere of instability where Gawain can no longer rely on status, reputation, or courtly rules. Gawain is alone, unprotected, and without guidance. This loneliness produces an atmosphere of existential tension. The poem wants us to feel how small and fragile he becomes outside the court. Just when the forest seems ready to break him, when he's freezing, starving, and nearly out of hope, Gawain prays and immediately encounters another castle. Bertilac's castle feels miraculously welcoming. Fires, food, music, and honourable hospitality. The atmosphere seems to restore safety and human order after the forest's hostility. But just like Camelot, this civilized space turns out to be another site of testing. Inside Bertilac's castle, Gawain is drawn into a series of friendly games proposed by his host. What looks like harmless diversions quietly becomes a test of his personal integrity and chivalric courtesy. The castle's warmth and comfort mask a moral trial just as serious as the one that began in Camelot. As we come to the final part of the story, Gawain meets the Green Knight at the Green Chapel. The chapel is nothing like a holy place. It's a wild, overgrown mound in the middle of the forest, damp, shadowed, and echoing with strange sounds. Many translations describe it as looking like a cave or a burial mound, and call it a place fit for the devil. The Green Chapel feels like a physical descent into Gawain's subconscious, a space where the polished identity he carried in Camelot can't protect him anymore. Here he is forced to confront the fears and impulses he tried to suppress. His flinch at the Green Knight's first strike reveals the truth he'd been hiding even from himself. He isn't the perfect knight, but a human being vulnerable to fear and self-preservation. As we can see, in Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, the two settings create two very distinct atmospheres. One associated with power, civilization and security, but also testing and trial. The other being the opposite, forces beyond human control, often supernatural ones, which offer a different kind of trial for the protagonist. Now, let's look at how these settings appear in Musashi. Yoshikawa's Musashi follows Japan's most famous swordsman as he travels through villages, mountains, forests, and temples. Nature is central to his development. It functions as both his training ground and his teacher. Because Musashi lives largely outside formal society, any setting connected to political authority or rigid etiquette stands in sharp contrast to him. This contrast reaches its peak when Musashi is summoned to Edo Castle for a potential appointment under the Tokugawa shogunate. Although Lord Tadakatsu regrets having to reject him, Musashi feels profound relief. The castle's hierarchy represents a kind of confinement. For someone shaped by mountains and forests, the atmosphere of the castle feels heavy, restrictive and artificial. The novel does not have one iconic forest like Sir Gawain in the Green Knight, but nature is a constant presence. Early in his journey, while hiding from the shogunate, Musashi takes refuge on a forested mountain, one of the many moments in the novel where nature shapes him physically and spiritually. Before he leaves the castle, Musashi is invited to paint something. He responds with a simple ink image of the rising sun. The contrast between the confinement of the castle and the freedom of nature is reflected in the question Musashi asks himself as he leaves. Does glory lie inside or outside the gate? As he studies Musashi's painting, Tadakatsu concludes with the final remark that sharpens the contrast even further. We've lost a tiger to the wilds.
矢に虎を意したいるは栄達の門かいずるは栄光の門か
In the end, the castle and the forest function differently within their respective narratives, yet they generate parallel atmospheres that shape each hero's growth. The castle in both works represents the structures of human authority, places governed by rank, ritual and social expectation. but the atmosphere is never entirely reassuring. These spaces test the characters through ceremony, hospitality, or political pressure. The forests, by contrast, loosen the grip of social order. They operate according to natural law rather than human hierarchy, demanding self-reliance, honesty, and internal strength. While the castle trials are wrapped in civilization and human performance, the trials of the forest feel exposed and elemental. Before we finish, I'd like you to think about how these two settings function in a story you probably know well, the Harry Potter series. Think about the atmosphere created by these two settings as well as their symbolism. Feel free to pause the video and I'll reveal a possible answer in 5 seconds. And here is one potential interpretation. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.